Mario Kart World is mostly a disappointment. And now that doesn't mean that it's a bad game, because it certainly isn't. It's a really good game. But I think for you to understand where I'm coming from, we have to take it back a small bit. So I made a video explaining my problems with the Mario Kart series as a whole, and I have a lot of issues with them. Now, I still grew up playing them, and I still to this day love a lot of them. But after playing a game like Crash Team Racing, every single Mario Kart paled in comparison, because Crash Team Racing has insane track design with really cool shortcuts, and it's just so mechanically deep with trying to chain boost that Mario Kart, from a pure gameplay standpoint, never even touched. I'm not saying that I don't enjoy playing Mario Kart, because playing Mario Kart in multiplayer with your friends or even by yourself, there is still a lot of fun to be had, but there is a lot of RNG where you will just be bombarded by items. And then if you look at the single player suite in Mario Kart games, it's basically just do a load of cups. You might get 200cc or mirror mode or something that will slightly change it up, but ultimately you're just going through cups. There's no adventure mode like in Diddy Kong Racing or Crash Team Racing. But then Mario Kart World was shown off. They were showing off this free roam and how they're finally changing up the formula of Mario Kart. And I actually went to a Switch 2 launch event. That was just really fun. It was the only midnight launch I've ever been to, and I had a great time, even if I was absolutely wrecked the day after. And there I got to play one race, and I got a goodie bag of a nice Switch 2 tote bag with a couple of bits in it. It was overall a great experience, but I couldn't wait to get home and finally try out the free roam mode. I mean, I heard little rumblings from different journalists who got their hands on, or even just people that have played it, that are like, oh, this is the Breath of the Wild of Mario Kart, or this is if Elden Ring was Mario Kart. So my excitement was, fairly high. I did try to go in with tempered expectations, but I think even with my tempered expectations, the free roam in Mario Kart World is extremely disappointing. And I love in the open world that you load up the game, you click the start button, and then you're straight in, you get to drive around. It's completely seamless, and that's fantastic. But there's basically only really 3 things that you can do while you're in the world. Yes, there are a couple of challenges you can do, like, do X amount of tricks or collect X amount of coins and you get stickers and cars and stuff like that. But the main content in the free roam mode are the P blocks, which are little challenges that you do, and then finding the question mark blocks, and then there's also Peach coins to find. And out of all of the content, the P blocks are by far the best because they're little challenges, and I did some that were really fun. There was one specifically, I think, in Moo Moo Meadows, where I had to jump up a ramp to land on a roof to get another boost to get over to another roof, and that's quite fun. And the implementation of the rewind system makes retrying them just really simple, really easy, and I think they nailed that specific 10-15 second loop of how to keep you engaged in these challenges. But every single other part in between those challenges is just completely boring. Yes, it's cool to see this world fully realized, and you can drive around, you can go to Moo Moo Meadows, you can go to Peach's Castle. That's all fantastic. But the in-between moments are so boring, and there's a lot of reasons for that. One, you're driving on a lot of straights. You're literally driving on motorways and just big, long, straight roads, and there's not much to do. And that does influence the track design, which I'll go into later. That does affect a couple of the tracks. But then when you're trying to find the question blocks, which are sort of the main hidden collectible in the game, they're, hidden under things or on the side of walls or through crazy shortcuts that you have to find. But the problem with that is, to find a lot of these, you have to drive off-road. And when you're driving off-road, you're driving slower. The game isn't as fun to play. So a lot of the times when you're looking for those question blocks, it actually just feels more tedious than anything else. And I think there's a load of ways that it could have taken this, where, let's just say for argument's sake, you go to Moo Moo Meadows. And in Moo Moo Meadows, there are 50 blue coins to find. And when you find the 50 blue coins, they unlock a map to show you all the P blocks. And then when you do all the P blocks, and maybe you could even have done 3 different levels, like you get a bronze, silver, or gold. And then when you get gold in all of the P blocks, something else happens. There has to be systems layered on top of each other, built into each other, where you actually feel rewarded. Because let's be honest, sitting down and doing all of this stuff, while it's fun for 10 or 15 minutes, after that you're just kind of done. Because the only carrot on the end of that stick is a load of stickers. And that's just extremely disappointing to me. Yes, you unlock some costumes as you go along by collecting the food, or you unlock new characters by using Kamek's powers. And again, that's all interesting, but I just think all these systems needed to be layered on top of each other in a certain way that made it, one, a bit more obvious what you're doing, because let's be real, I'm still not sure how I actually unlock costumes. And yes, I know how to unlock the Kamek characters, but you know, at the start I didn't really know. But imagine you just hovered over Peach's castle and it had a little checklist. Like, this needed to be a checklist open world for it to make sense, and unfortunately it just isn't. See, just going off people's articles talking about, oh, this is the Breath of the Wild or the Elden Ring, I was really expecting to sit down and say, finally Mario Kart has a single player suite of content that is unbelievable, and I'm having so much fun. I'm going to put 10, 20, 30 hours into playing the open world. But unfortunately, I'd say at most did 3 or 4 hours of free roam, and then I've had enough. And that's when you get into the value proposition of Mario Kart World. So I think we could sit down and say, this game looks beautiful, it runs beautifully. You could see that this is an objectively high quality game, and it has a lot of amazing tracks, and how the tracks loop into each other, especially in Knockout Tour, is fantastic. I'm not disputing that part of the game because it really is that amazing. But from a value proposition standpoint, I'm glad I spent €40 on this game instead of 90, because if I had paid €90 for this game, this would have been a totally different video. Because if I go back to other Nintendo games, let's go back to the Switch 1 launch title, Breath of the Wild, and I will sit there and say, I would pay €90 for Breath of the Wild. I think I put 160 hours into that game. I absolutely adored it. That game is worth every single penny. And if it was €90, it still would have been worth every single penny. But now with Mario Kart World, I think it's missing that single player, that free roam mode that really, really hooks you, that you can seriously sink a lot of time into. And unfortunately, it just doesn't have that. It's a great kart racer, and I have to say that playing Knockout Tour is the highlight of this game. It's a great mode. But if I paid €90 for Mario Kart, I would have been quite annoyed. And I wanted to mostly talk about the free roam mode in this video because that was the mode that interested me the most. I knew going into this that we were going to get a really polished, great kart racer that's fun in multiplayer, and we all know that. They have proven it every single time they've released a Mario Kart game, that they know how to make a high quality kart racer. But I was always waiting for Mario Kart to go that extra mile, to give us a cool adventure mode like Diddy Kong Racing, or give us really deep mechanics like Crash Team Racing. And if I'm being honest, they did kind of do that here. If you've watched some of the videos of people attempting these crazy shortcuts with these jumps and using the grind rails, it's definitely there. It really is. I think they've brought Mario Kart to another level, and I can't wait to sink my teeth into learning these tracks and trying to figure out these shortcuts. And I have to say that Knockout Tour is amazing. And I think the main reason why Knockout Tour is so good is that they seem to have rebalanced the item economy, where in the latter half of races, you don't get bombarded by lightning strikes or blue shells or any of this stuff. They seem to have reduced the item pool, or at least made the super overpowered items way less frequent. So it actually starts to feel like a purely skill-based race in basically every single aspect. And I have to tip my cap to that, because that is what I wanted to see from Mario Kart. Something that is slightly more skill-based. I think I will never get the Crash Team Racing equivalent in Mario Kart. I just know that. They're just different games, different series going for different things, and that's totally fine. But this is one step closer towards Crash Team Racing, and I do like it. So yeah, Mario Kart World is a phenomenal kart racer, but it is still disappointing, and I think that free roam mode is just such wasted potential. And what I'm hoping for is that in the future, we will have free content updates. I'm hoping in a couple of years that €90 investment or $80 investment for a lot of people will sort of seem a bit sounder, because I'm hoping that Nintendo will give out all the content for free, where we get, say, a new cup every 6 months and a new racer. And then maybe, just maybe, what I would love to see is if they started to bring in other Nintendo franchises, where they actually built a map that was, the top part is Hyrule, the bottom part is, I don't know, Kirby, the left or the west and the east are different games, and then you can sort of drive around from, you know, do a link course from Hyrule Castle to Kakariko Village to, I don't know, into whatever, Star Fox or Pikmin or blah blah blah, Animal Crossing. There's so many great Nintendo franchises, and I would love to see that. That's what I hope for the future Mario Kart World, and maybe they will learn from their mistakes and they'll make free roam into something a bit more substantial. Maybe Miyamoto himself will watch this video he'll take on board my idea of it being a bit more checklisty, and then I will get a credit in Mario Kart World. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think of Mario Kart World. I'd imagine a lot of people are roughly aligned with me in certain aspects. I think most people agree that the free roam is just completely underwhelming. There will be loads of more content coming very, very soon. There's loads of old games coming out. The Gex trilogy is out very soon. I've never played Gex, and I probably will. I'm looking forward to it. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.